What is going on, guys? Kenny here from 619 Guitars and Gear, and today we are going to check out and dive into my ESP LTD EC-407BFM baritone 7-string. This thing is actually really cool, so I'm excited to make this video. So, as always, let's get into it. All right, well, let's jump right into things here. I know it's been a little while, but welcome back to another review video. If you remember, not too long ago, I did two videos. The first one being kind of like an unveiling of two guitars that I had acquired on a trade. One being an LTD KH602 Kirk Hammet signature, and the other being this LTD EC-407BFM baritone 7-string. I traded my custom shop BC Rich Mockingbird that I had, that I kind of got knowing that I was either going to sell it or trade it because I got it for a good deal. And this is what we got. I got two LTD hard cases, one for each guitar, and I just thought it was a really good deal. So we obviously did a video on the KH602, which I will put the link up here so you can watch that. So now it's time to make a video on this guitar. I had a hard time finding like an accurate spec sheet for this guitar. I can sit here and give you my thoughts and opinions on what I think everything is and take measurements and everything and probably get it pretty accurate. But I like to, be as accurate as possible. And I finally found a spec sheet that looks like it's spot on. This guitar is from 2012, so it was just kind of hard to, find a exact spec sheet, I guess you could say. I mean, they still make this model, but I believe it's not the BFM, so things might be a little bit different. So I just wanted to be accurate just in case. Starting at the body here, you have a solid mahogany body. Obviously, it is the EC line, so it is a single cut. You have what they call like a charcoal black sunburst. Now, I don't know if it's just my eyes, but it kind of has like a grayish green tint to it, which is really cool. You have a binding going around the whole body, and then you have like a subtle flame veneer on top of the mahogany. You have a set maple neck. It is a 27-inch scale length, which is awesome. Obviously a baritone, so you can throw some thick strings on this thing, tune it real low, and just have a great day. You have a rosewood fretboard. It is a 350 millimeter radius. I will put on the screen what that is in inches, but everything feels really good. It is considered a thin U neck shape. You have a binding going around the outsides of the fretboard. You have 24 extra jumbo nickel frets. And then for the inlays, you have what I call flag style block inlays because they kind of just look like flags blowing in the wind. Those are mother of pearl. You have regular black side dots. It would be cool if it had like lumen lay, but I mean, I guess you could always install that yourself later, but it is what it is. Still cool to me. Dual action truss rod, regular molded nut. I don't think it's anything special, but it's cut really nicely. At the headstock here for the tuners, you just have regular LTD style non-locking tuners. They work perfectly good, but it would be obviously nice to have some locking tuners on this thing in the future. That's probably the only other mod I would do to this guitar. Going to the rest of the hardware, you have a Tune-O-Matic style bridge with a tailpiece. One volume for the bridge pickup, one volume for the neck pickup, a master tone, which is a push-pull. Now, you'll notice something different. This usually does come with EMG, I think 707s in it. And someone had stuck some Steph Carpenter signature Fishmans in there, which is awesome. And then you have the push-pull for the two voicings. And then a three-way style toggle switch. So some pretty cool specs on this thing. Super comfortable to play. The thin U neck shape. They say it's a thin U, but it's not too thin. I do not like super thin necks on my 7 strings, and I think it feels really, really comfortable to hold and play. I'd say the only thing about the neck I don't like is the fact that it is gloss, but I mean, I could always tape it off and do, the wet sanding thing to make it a matte finish, but I really haven't decided if I wanted to do that or not. So obviously this is a used guitar. I like to throw it on the bench and see how everything is set up. Obviously everything's set up to my preference, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. I'll just show you where I have everything set, and then we will open up the back cavities and see what everything looks like in there. And then we will plug this thing in and see how good it sounds, because I'm telling you, it sounds and plays really, really good. All right, I want to show you where I have the relief set. Now, there is quite a bit of relief in this neck, and usually more than I would put, but I found that it plays the best. So, just so you can get an idea, there is definitely a good amount of light coming from underneath. So there's definitely a good amount of relief in here, but if that's where, I think it plays the best, that's where I'm going to put it. I'd obviously like to have it a little bit more straighter, but it is fine, and it plays great. So that is where we have the relief set. Let's check the action. Now, obviously, this is a used guitar, like I had mentioned a couple times. So this is where I have it set up. I figured I'd just show you. Typically, on pretty much every guitar, I like my action around 1.50 millimeters. If I can get it a little bit lower, I usually will go as low as 1.25. I'm not doing any crazy type of shredding, so I don't have to have it super low. But that's just always been a comfortable string height for me. Now on 7 strings, sometimes I have to go a little bit higher, but on this guitar, I was able to get it at 1.25 and gradually drop down to 1.25 on the smaller strings. So let's just check it. Yep, we are at 1.50. And as you get towards the middle of the strings, it starts to drop down on the smaller strings to 1.25, and in inches that is 0.06, and then that's going to drop down to 0.05. This thing plays really, really well, so awesome. All right, so we got the back cavity covers off. Everything looks really good here. Now, I do know my buddy Will, who I got this guitar from, he's the one that wired all this up. So soldering joints look amazing. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from him, because he's a master of the craft, and he's definitely taught me some stuff for sure. He kind of had to do it on the go, because he basically finished this thing up, put it together, and got on the road from Florida to do the trade with me. And but he did a great job. I might eventually come in here and maybe just neaten some stuff up. You have your master tone, which is a push-pull for voice 1, voice 2, and then a volume for each pickup. Now, there is 2 wires in here that are not connected. You'll see right here is one of them. I do know on the modern, the Fishman Modern set, that would be for your high-frequency tilt. I do not know with the Steph Carpenter Signature Series from Fishman if it's the same feature. It might be something else. I'd have to look it up. I will try to put it on the screen after I do some research. But everything looks great. Shielding paint looks great. I have to say, these routes are real clean. I mean, LTD's routes are always clean, but I mean, these are like, I don't know, for some reason I just feel like they're super clean. Then you have your 9-volt battery box. You have your Velcro to keep it nice and in place. I love that they do these threaded inserts. I don't know why they just can't do them all the way around. It would be so much nicer. But it's a feature I definitely like, instead of using wood screws for everything. But everything looks really, really good inside here. All right, while we have the backside facing up, I thought I'd point this out because I thought this was pretty weird, actually. So this thing has got to be 1, 2, three, four. This is a 5-piece body besides the veneer on top. And it's like all different color. I don't know how hard it is to see. There we go. But it's like all different color stains. You got some black, some charcoal color, some brown. I don't know if it's just the different types of, the cut of wood that they used. I just thought that was pretty unique. I mean, it's kind of cool. And then you have this weird spot right here that's like, I don't know if it's like wood filler or maybe like it's almost like maybe some acetone or something dripped on the stain and then they wiped it off. Because it's like a little bare spot of wood where there's no stain underneath the clear coat, obviously. So I thought that was pretty weird. It's kind of like a birthmark. But thought I'd point that out. It's pretty interesting. All right, real quick, we're going to do a little bit of a sound demo. We're just going to do some high gain stuff and just chug around because honestly, this guitar for me, in my opinion, is not meant for clean the way I have it set up right now. We'll go through all 3 different pickup positions. We'll play with voice 2 a little bit. We are tuned to drop G sharp going into the quad cortex. I am actually using the Ltd plugin with the new plugin capability with the quad cortex, and I made a really killer IR that I think together just sounds really, really good. All right, so we've gone through the ins and outs of this guitar, specs, we did a sound demo, and honestly, I have to say I really love this guitar. I am super happy I did the trade, and yeah, I just think it's a really fun guitar to play, and it sounds amazing. The Steph Carpenter Fishmans just totally do it for me. I'm a big fan of the Fishman Moderns, and I have to say, I believe Voice 1 of the Steph Carpenter signature series are pretty much voiced like the Moderns. I think just with a little bit, a couple different changes. It doesn't really say on the website, but honestly, this thing just sounds really, really good. I'm sure it sounded great with the EMGs in it, but either way, I definitely prefer the Fishmans, and overall, it's just a solid guitar. Now, some of you may have noticed it is a guitar made in China, and I know there's a big conspiracy that, Chinese-built guitars are crap, and honestly, I have to say, this is probably... I think I have one other guitar from China, and they're both pretty solid. I haven't had, too much experience with guitars built in China, mostly, Korea or Indonesia. But I have to say this is a well built guitar. It is solid, and it's in great condition. There is some damage underneath the tone pot. I don't know if maybe something fell on it and smashed the wood in, but it's structurally good. It just looks like it cracked some of the finish. Other than that, this thing is in great shape, and I absolutely love it. I did misspeak. It is a 2015, not 2012. Doesn't really make too much of a difference. But yeah, I plan on keeping this thing around for a long time. But that's pretty much it for this video. I wanted to get this one out. And that kind of concludes the two guitars that I got on the trade for the Mockingbird. And we will move on from here. So I have another guitar that I picked up that you guys have not seen yet. Again, it's a kind of an older guitar, and it's actually a little bit more of a rare guitar. And again, hard to find specs on, but I'm doing my best so I can be as accurate as possible. But until then, like always, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, be a good person, go play your guitar, and we will see you in the next video.